It's the most wonderful time of the year. With the kids jingle belling and everyone telling you be of good cheer. It's the most wonderful time of... It's the
No. That is not right. That's not the right video. What? That's not the right. No, that was wrong. That was wrong on a lot of levels. That was very, very wrong. We need a real song to start the show off. I apologize. I apologize to you fine people.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. With Keith Olbermann crying, it's so satisfying to see all his tears. It's the most wonderful time of the year. And it's the happiest season of all. There'll be mass deportations and huge celebrations when we build the wall. It's the happiest season of all. We'll tell all the pretenders there's only two genders. The rest of them are all for show. Since I've been re-elected, our country's respected much more than we were under Joe. It's the most wonderful time of the year. And with all of this winning, the people are grinning with hearts full of cheer.
Dun, 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 dun.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Thank you. God bless you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. And the best is yet to come. Believe me.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of the following program tonight, where we bring you our top 10 MAGA moments of the year. Yes, that's right. Top 10 MAGA moments of the year. In the craziest year in the long storied history of MAGA, this was easily the craziest of years. I think we tend to forget just how wacky and bizarre, how many different crazy development stories, things that went down. And I got to tell you, when I started putting this show together, the inspiration really wasn't even going to be top 10 MAGA moments. It really wasn't going to be that. It was like top 10 strangest political stories of the year. That's the way I was going to be doing it. And it was really this clip that I saw, which I was like, who the heck would have ever thought a year ago, in January of 2024, who on earth would have ever predicted, of all the crazy things that happened this year, this would have definitely been top 10 weirdest political developments of the year.
And after you survived an assassination, you literally were shot in your head, and had the presence of mind to respond, fight. I mean, that's a political talent. It's undeniable.
This is Fetterman, who he's basically become Joe Manchin of the Democratic Party. It's astonishing.
Also, I never believed that it was about fascism. And for me, that made it difficult for
Kamala Harris said that he was a fascist.
Yeah, well, it's like that's her prerogative. I mean, but it's not a word that I would use, because you put a lot of Democrats, especially in my state, that I know, and I happen to love people that are going to vote for Trump, and they are not fascists. And also fascism, that's not a word that regular people, use. That, I think people are going to decide who is the candidate that's going to protect and project, my version of the American way of life. And that's what happened.
Unbelievable. I saw that and I was like, no one would have predicted that. No one. I mean, he was supposedly crazy, woke, leftist leaning individual. And that's where I was going to start. I was going to start with like the 10 things that no one ever expected to happen. Up there on the list, I was gonna put on my list there, cocaine in the White House. I mean, yeah, it's easy to joke about, Hunter Biden. I mean, seriously, cocaine in the Biden White House. In the Biden White House. I mean, it's been a crazy year. And then I started putting together my list. I was like, and I asked folks in locals at goodlogic.locals.com, I asked them to tell me what you thought was your 5 biggest moments. I figured I'd sort of parse out. But when I did it looked like a very MAGA list. And I was like, can't really call this. I mean, so many of these stories related around Trump or the election or things of that nature that I was just like, you know what? Let's just lean in. We're going to lean in. I'm leaning into my MAGA leanings. I'm leaning into it. This is it. I'm leaning. You know what? It's the holidays. I can lean in. I'm leaning in. I'm MAGA. What am I going to tell you? That's right. I'm MAGA. I'm going to lean in on MAGA. Yeah. Tonight I will. Tonight we will. That's what's happening. Speaking of, Merry Christmas, America. God bless you, Aaron. Merry Christmas to you as well. Anthony hitting us with 10. That's right, I said 10. Hitting us with 10. Whoa, what's that? Why do I have that? Sorry, that at 10. I got an echo there. Who'd you bring into the following here? The following people brought into the following on Christmas Eve, courtesy of Anthony F. Soldier of Providence, Helene T. Professor Falcon, Marloka Cat K, Cat's Pajamas Warrior B, Yacht, you ain't wrong, Charlet, Morak 101, and Nomad Damon. That's what we got. Nomad Damon. That's definitely what it is. You find folks who were brought into the following courtesy of Anthony F. I urge you that your first step as a member of the following is to express your gratitude to the Soldier of Providence, who has brought you, has basically given you a far greater gift than anything you're going to find in stocking, because now he's brought you to a place of like-minded individuals who are all fixated on greater personal growth, which is what life is all about. It's not about an Xbox, okay? It's not about some Nintendo, whatever you kids are playing today. It's not. It's about greater personal growth through community, unity, and leadership training. If you're a little confused, some of those names there, I don't see on the reg over here. So you might say to yourself, what, the following? What's that, some kind of cult type of? No. It's not at all a cult type of cult. And I am not the leader of the following. Say it with me. Joe is the host. He's not the leader of the following. God bless you, Anthony. Hope you have a Merry Christmas as well. And happy Hanukkah. Freilich Hanukkah, Ann Feinstein. Please check out Tom McDonald. Let It Snow. It's under 2 minutes, and it's hilarious. Tom McDonald, Let It Snow. Yes, nicely. And it is Christmas. Didn't I open the show with this yesterday? Screw the woke, screw the woke, screw the woke. I opened the show with it yesterday. I'm like 99% sure that was. Let's see. Maybe it's a different one.
Well, the tide is finally turning, and Kamala's speech is slurring.
This was Screw
Thank
the
God
Woke.
we're saying bye to Joe. Screw the woke, screw the woke, screw the woke.
I did this yesterday. I can't help it if you were late. I definitely did this yesterday. I don't like playing the same. I don't like running the same bit twice. But it was a great song. It was a great song. All right. I will share one thing with y'all, which I thought about opening with tonight, and I was going to open with this yesterday. I was going to share it. I was like, nah, let me save it for tomorrow. If you like songs, I'll give you one more song here. It's a lot better than the Diddy Jay-Z version. Is this? Here you go. I thought that was cute. Thought I'd share that with y'all. Mostly Not a Cult Dues. That's right. Thank you. Thank you for the Mostly Not a Cult Dues. Fani taking the witness stand. That was a pretty awesome moment. It was. It's not on my top 10 list. It's not, but it should be. Now I regret not cramming it in there. Fani taking the stand. Yeah, that was pretty good. That was a pretty good moment. That was a pretty big moment. Ew. Well, I'm going to ask you all who are watching both now or after the show, if you think I missed something like Fani taking the witness stand, which I'll tell you is not on the list. In that case, drop a comment down below. Tell me, Joe, you suck, and tell me where you would rank it. Don't just say I would put this on the list, but that's like gotta be like number 7 or number 4 or number 1 if you think so. So, I think you should sell Not a Cult merch. I think I should be selling a lot of merch, but every time I try doing something like that, things fall through. I don't know why. Our tracksuits on the Toss the Virgin in the Volcano event in New Year's Eve. We need the tracksuits. Oh my God, I need a tracksuit so badly. So badly. I don't know. It is a MAGA Christmas. There you go, Thomas. Merry Christmas to you. You play the short, play the whole thing. Fine. Play the whole thing. And wants the whole thing. Everyone wants the whole thing. Everyone wants the whole thing. I can just sit here. Never dings me. And that makes him just awesome. So, yes, he could. He could ding me, but he never does. He never does. All right, now it's time. Now it's time for Top 10 list. Top 10 strangest, craziest, ridiculous, unbelievable, amazing stories related to MAGA from the year 2024. Nice being with Tosh. Because Trump won the 2024 election is always entertaining. Yeah, lots of folks. You can find that lots of places. This is true. We're doing a top 10 list tonight, and that's what we're doing. All right. Number 10. This is my list. You can make your own lists. You can argue. You can say whatever. Number 10. Number 10 on the list of things we never thought we would see. Things we never thought we would see is the level of Trump trolling of Kamala down the stretch. Oh, please play. Oh.
Hello, everybody.
Sir?
My first day at McDonald's. I'm looking for a job.
No. Why are you not?
Thank you very much. If you don't mind, I want to work at the French fry counter.
Absolutely.
Okay, how much you paying me?
How much are you paying?
Hello, everybody.
Inda is here. This is Inda. She has an apron for you.
Should I take off my jacket? Open it up.
Work in the fryer.
Tight. Got the salt on it.
This was awesome.
Never touches the human hand.
Very good.
Nice and full.
Thank you.
Good.
There you go. There was Trump. Trump doing his thing. But that wasn't the only trolling. This was a longer version of it. This was the whole thing of him being there.
JoJo's going to teach you some drive-through. I have to hand some food out, and this is Frank, who's going to be more than happy to help you.
In case you're wondering, in case you forgot this story, what happened was Kamala Harris had claimed that when she was a hard-working girl, when she was a working girl, back when she was a little girl, she was working at McDonald's, and McDonald's said, we got no freaking record of her ever working here. Well, they got records of Donald Trump working there now. So that was That happened. No one thought it was going to happen, but it did. Donald Trump working the fryer at Mickey D's. But that wasn't the only trolling that Donald Trump did. No. He's Donald Trump, and this guy trolls with the best of them. With the best of them. And that's why after there was the whole fiasco, you might have forgotten about that fiasco because everything went so well a week or two later. But that fiasco, a week before the election at Madison Square Garden, when Killer Tony went out there and made some jokes about Puerto Ricans and there being trash in Puerto Rico and that the island's filled with trash, which all of a sudden the left tried twisting into being some sort of crazy racism. And let me tell you, Puerto Ricans coming out for you, according to Sonny Hostin. Oh, there's 70,000 Puerto Ricans in Pennsylvania, 46,000 Puerto Ricans in Michigan. I could do a top 10 crazy, angry, screaming fests from The View. But I think you all would go running screaming for the hills if you had to listen to Whoopi and Joy and Sonny. Oh, my God, you wouldn't take it. I'd be sitting here talking to like 300 people. Yeah, well, anyhow. So then when that situation looked as if it was going to be potentially disastrous for the election, everyone hearing about the long memories of the Puerto Ricans who were very easily offended, except for every Puerto Rican who made a video saying that they weren't remotely offended. But then Joe Biden decided, I'm going to give them all a gift. I'm going to call MAGA voters garbage. I'm going to call MAGA voters garbage in the middle of election season. Oh, my God. It was like, how do you get people to the poll? How can you get people to the poll other than saying if you vote against Democrats, you're garbage? How does Trump play that? As only he can. As only he can. So good, Donald. Boys,
they shouldn't be talking. That's like deplorable for Hillary. This is the deplorable for Hillary. And I think this is worse, actually. For Joe Biden to make that statement, it's really a disgrace. Puerto Rico. And Puerto Rico loves me. I don't know anything about a comedian. I love Puerto Rico. Nobody's done more for Puerto Rico than me. I took care of
nobody's done more for Puerto Rico than me. I love Puerto Rico. Puerto Ricans are great.
Them when they had the big hurricanes, and nobody gets along better with Puerto Rico and the Puerto Rican people than me. They love me and I love them. I don't know anything about the comedian. I don't know who he is. I've never seen him. I heard he made a statement, but it was just a statement that he made. He's a comedian. What can I tell you? How do you like my garbage truck?
The man of the people. The man of the people. Mr. Blue Collar himself. And in 1 week he went from let me tell you something. He's moving up fast in the world. In 1 week he went from Mickey D's to be working in garbage. It's actually a step up. That's a step up. So yes. So I thought his trolling of Kamala and the different publicity stunts, even after the fact.
Matching the sound you hear if you.
That's not what we wanted. Even the way he was joking about it at a rally afterwards was just amazing. He understands zeitgeist. He understands culture. And he's talking
So
here.
I said, how the hell do you get into this truck? It's way up high. It's a big one. This was a beauty. I said, you didn't have to buy it that big, right? You have to get it that big? They brought this brand new, gorgeous truck, wonderful driver. He looked like Cary Grant in his prime. You know what that is? This beautiful driver. And he drove that big thing up. And I said, man, this is bad because now I have all the cameras are all watching. Look at all the fake news. They were most of them.
He's so good at this.
No, most of them.
He's so good at this.
Many of them were there. And I'm saying, oh, boy. You know, one little mistake with these guys and your political career's over. You can't even. So I said, man, if I don't get up there, this is going to be very embarrassing.
If he fell, that would have been such a disaster.
These stupid people, they'll say, he's cognitively and physically impaired. And I can't do that when I'm alongside of this great athlete. I got to get up to that. So look, the first stair is like up here. I'm saying, so I had the adrenaline going and I made it.
Oh, that's so good. So good. He saw that first star. He's like, oh my God, what is happening here? Why don't you give me something? I'll climb up like I'm like one of those ninja warriors. The guy's almost 80 years old. You're making him step up there. That was great. That was a great moment. And those are two moments. Seeing him having one of the last Trump rallies, doing it in his garbage man vest. That was not on your bingo card when you came into 2024. Dear not the leader, here's to a great 2024. For real, please see the Sewing Brothers, all one word, for tracksuits. Quality and very nice price points. The Sewing Brothers. Sewing Brothers. All right. Got it. Okay. I see what's going on here. Oh my God. These tracksuits are like $250. What, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That sounds crazy. Look what he's giving me here. Everyone wants me to get tracksuits, the Sewing Brothers. Look at it. Look at what he's giving me. Look at this guy. $245. What are you giving me here? What do you think this is meant for? Like, what do you think I'm gonna like? You think that most of my viewers like mafia themselves? Like, oh yeah, I'll drop $300 on a sewing on a tracksuit. That's what I'm doing. You can't do that. Oh my God. Very nice price point. Unbelievable. Yeah, that's what I think everyone's going to. Everyone, if I charge like $260 for it, people are like, "Oh, Joe's really ripping us off here." I'll be like, "Wait, seriously." Yeah. You all can blame Drop Barracuda for that one. I don't know what he's thinking. All right. So that was number 10. Let's get to story number 9 of the year. Ninth biggest, weirdest story, which really started, which is, I think was really, this story was significant in the sense that it showed the coalescing of MAGA in 2024. This was where we actually saw the power of MAGA in 24. And that this was actually, this was a movement which was something beyond just politics. And that's why I'm ranking this as the 9th biggest story of the year. And that is Bud Light.
Well, Bud Light has lost its spot as America's top-selling beer after sales dropped nearly 25% for the month of May. Conservatives began a boycott of the beer after transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney advertised for the brand on social media back in April.
This month, I celebrated my day 365 of womanhood, and Bud Light sent me possibly the best gift ever, a can with my face on it.
From then, sales went south. Joining us live now, the Associate Professor of Marketing at Drexel University's Liebau College of Business, Daniel Gushin. Daniel, appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us this morning. So graphs do show quite a drop in sales after that ad. Is that down to the boycott?
It's definitely part of the boycott. And by the way, thanks for having me.
How you doing, brother?
Happy
holidays.
There's a boycott element from conservatives, but there's also an element of more liberal consumers who were bothered by.
All right, moving on to number 8. Dang it! Really? I knew I should have put that cocaine in the White House. Number 9. I'm kidding. That was in That was in 2023. No. That wasn't on the list. That wasn't on the list. No.
Once the
Number 9 on the list. Number 9. See, I was testing y'all. Number 9 on the list. Fani, taking the stand.
motion was filed, did you meet with Mr. Wade and talk to him about the motion that I filed to disqualify you? On January.
Wearing the backward dress. Wearing her dress backwards. Yes, that is wearing it backwards. The zipper is supposed to go in the back.
This first January motion? Yes. I don't know if you could say talked about. I probably had some choice words about some of the things that you said that were dishonest within this motion. So I don't know that it was a conversation. As you know, Mr. Wade is a Southern gentleman. Me, not so much. Isn't it true that you met Mr. Wade in October 2019 at the judges conference?
He hasn't gotten to the point where Ms. Willis should be treated hostile.
I think we have.
I very much want to be here, so I'm not a hostile witness. I very much want to be
Not
here.
so much that you're hostile, Ms. Willis.
If you let me tell you something. This should be a lesson to you that we saw in the take effect in the Alec Baldwin trial. If you're part of the prosecution team, you really don't want to be taking this stand. It's just not a good move. It's not. Okay? That's just a little ounce of litigation about you don't want to be on the nothing good can come out of this. Nothing.
This would be an adverse witness. Your interests are opposed to Ms. Merchant's.
Thank you. Merchant's interests are contrary to democracy, Your Honor, not to mine.
Oh, Miss Merchant's interests are contrary to democracy. I guess the Georgia Supreme Court disagree with you, Fani. Because ultimately, in case you missed it, in case you missed the newsflash, appellate department said, yeah, she's gone. And her testimony, that was crap. That was terrible. That was humiliating to the state of Georgia. So yeah, I think that well deserves the 9th spot, and that we're going to totally pretend is what I had up there from the get-go. Okay, so we're going to go with that. We're going to go with that being it. Santa desperately needs a new red tracksuit. Yeah, well. He probably does. Brian, thank you for the tip. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate your presence on X. Love your humor and analytics. Respect, sir. God bless you, Mike Ladd. Weird story. Virginia hunter killed after bear he was hunting fell on him. Happy Hanukkah and Merry Christmas. Yeah, indeed. Wow, that is a weird story. Try and keep her off the stand. She was itching to tell everyone, how dare you question me? Her interests are contrary to democracy. I am democracy. I am democracy. Yeah, that's a much better number 9. I might surprise you with what I have as number 8, but this falls all the way down. There's so many unique circumstances that happened in 2024. I was trying to figure out where I could push this up on the list to make it, because you would think that this should be higher on the list, but it has to fall. It falls all the way down to number 8. And that was Donald Trump's utter and complete dominance in the 2024 election.
So you asked, are there any places that the vice president is overperforming Joe Biden in 2020? So we could show you that as well. We just bring that out here. Harris overperforming in 2020.
Holy smokes.
There you go. So let this go away and see if there's anything on the east side there.
Literally
not one county she's doing better than Biden did.
Nothing.
Literally nothing.
Literally not one county
by 3% or more, at least in the county right now. And so you come in full county there. So there you see, but that's states. Yeah. So in counties, in 58 counties.
That was so good. Nothing. How could that possibly be? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. So we saw complete and utter dominance, which is why the reason this was significant, the utter dominance that we saw in the November 2024 election. The reason this is significant is because everyone was predicting that after the election would be over, we would be seeing an uprising from the losers saying, no. This was a fix or whatever, whoever lost. We thought that left would do it, the right would do it. But this was such utter dominance that the left had no opportunity to even claim that the election was stolen. It was just, no, she lost. Like she was trapped. She was crushed. And all the left was left, all the crazy woke leftists were left with was stuff like this.
I'm upset. I'm mad. I'm upset. Why? My feelings are hurt. Why? My feelings are hurt. I'm mad. I'm upset. I'm mad. I'm upset. Why? My feelings are hurt. Why? My feelings are hurt. Why?
I'm done. I'm done with you. I'm done with you and your mother and your sister. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with you. This is not okay. This is not okay. Oh my God! Oh my God! I dare you to tell me to calm down right now.
I'm mad. I'm upset.
I dare you to tell me to calm down right now.
I'm mad. I'm upset.
We can't just give up. There's so much hate in this country. You're fucking wrong. Misinformation from Elon. We gotta fight back. You're fucking wrong.
You don't want to freak out. We don't want to freak out. I'm mad. I'm upset. I'm mad. I'm upset. Why? My feelings are hurt. My feelings are hurt. I'm mad. I'm upset. I'm mad. I'm upset. Why? My feelings are hurt. My feelings are hurt.
America, how can you do this to us again? What the fuck? What the fuck? What has happened to America? What has happened to democracy? What has happened to freedom?
What?
Oh my God.
Well, I think you get the point. Maybe I let that run a little bit too long as it is. Yeah. So there you go. I think that his dominance I don't think walking into 2024, people ever expected him to have that level of dominance. We had a certain quiet confidence. At least I did. And I think many other people felt going into the November election. But the level of dominance that he displayed, I mean, even, I'll tell you right now, on election night, when he was declared the winner, I was still terrified they were going to yank it away from us. Like, I was like, wait, he really won? Wait, he won? Wait, it's over? That's it? It's over? Really? Wait. Like, it was like, it just wasn't settling in. Like, because I was just like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. There was no like, yeah, because I was just like, hey, we really won? We oh my God, we won. It was just like that kind of, yeah, because I kept thinking they're gonna just, steal. We're gonna see. I had terrible fears. I kept reassuring y'all that this election would be very different and it's much harder for them to steal. And I sort of felt as if there was incumbent upon me to sort of chill you all out and make sure you got your asses into a ballot booth so you could actually cast your vote, because instead of giving up. So, and I was hopeful that things had been changed enough that it was harder for them to steal it. But I wasn't positive at all. I wasn't positive at all. I was very, very afraid of a 2020 repeat of the disaster that we saw in 2020. I was very afraid of that. So, so that dominance was massive, because it just became like, there's no point to trying to steal this. There's just too much. There's just too much here. There's no way to do it. There's just no way to fix this. So, yeah. So that's why I have that as number 8 on my list. The pure dominance of the election. Denise says David Wade showed up with Fani when I think you mean Nathan Wade, with Fani when her daughter was arrested for driving with suspended license. So much happened this year. It's hard to remember it all. I know. That's what I was like. That was the chore, was trying to remember it all. And there I was throwing in Dylan Mulvaney, which I will admit to you. I'm joking when I said that. That was a test. Like I totally screwed that up. But, yeah. AKA Batusa gifting 5 memberships into the following. Who'd you bring into us? Because we need more followers here. We need a lot more of these fine folks. Bringing in here CJR902, Katos, Kella Vakuya, HPWI, and Jack Betts. Each of you, please kindly express your gratitude to AKA Batuse. What to say? God bless you, and welcome to the following. Not your parents' type of cult. Well, it's not at all a cult. Type of cult. All right. I think we're up to number 7. We're up to number 7, right? Is that number 7? Yeah. Number 7 for me. Again, this is number 7 for me. We had this person sort of starting. This is like as far as like the cementing of the MAGA movement. I think really came here.
His name is Elon Musk. He saved free speech. He created so many different great things. Where is he? Come on up here, Elon. He created the first major American car company in generations, and his rocket company is the only reason we can now send American astronauts into space. Come here. Take over, Elon. Yes, take over.
And we had one president who couldn't climb a flight of stairs, and another who was fist pumping after getting shot. Fight, fight, fight. Blood coming down the face. The other side wants to take away your freedom of speech. They want to take away your right to bear arms. They want to. They want to take away your right to vote effectively.
And we will reach Mars before the end of my term. Elon promised me he was going to do that. I don't know. Can you do that? Stand up. Can we do that? He wants to reach. No, he told me that we're going to win, and he's going to reach Mars by the end of our term, which is a big thing. Before China, before anybody, right? And my money's on that guy right there.
Fight, fight, fight. Vote, vote, vote.
Thank you.
There you go. Elon jumping into the fray, literally jumping into the fray. It was a massive moment. There was, I think and I also think even Joe Rogan just officially coming out and supporting Trump. I would sort of put that together because these are two influential people who are able to actually move so many people through the different platforms that they have their popularity. And Elon even donating $1 million a day, donating tens of millions to the election in order to help get him across the finish line. We never had in American history the richest human on earth come out and aggressively throw his money and overtly throw his money and support and his platform, which is the most influential political platform on the planet, behind a presidential candidate. We've had in the dark from the other side, we've seen how the media has been used by Democrats for decades and how they've been, it's become more and more overt over time. Yeah, they have Soros money and the different psyops that they have, whether it's BLM or weaponizing the DOJ, all this different stuff that they've been doing, all these different things. It's all been sort of covert, like, no, this is just, events unfolding. But to actually come out overtly and say, I'm going to give $1 million a day to some Pennsylvanian who just joins in with our America PAC, it's just like, that's an astonishing development. He even got sued for that and basically just destroyed that suit. But that development to me, I think was very, that was unprecedented. And when you're talking about something unprecedented, I think it belongs on this list. I think it belongs on a list of like the strangest, most awesome stories of 2024. And that's, really Elon. I would include Rogan in with that also. So yeah, we're going through my list. That was number 7 on the list. So far, in case you joined late, number 10 on the list, we've been counting down top 10 stories of the year. So on my list so far, number 10 I had was Trump's trolling of Kamala with the Mickey D job and the garbage truck. Number 9, I actually had the Bud Light fiasco, but I changed that over to Fani's taking the stand. Number 8 was Trump's dominance in the popular vote. Number 7 I had was Elon jumping into the fray. We're up to number 6 now. Let me get to some of these chats, and then we'll move along with our list here. Don't forget about Bootsegs in the Senate. Yeah, I want to forget about that. Hello, Joe. Happy Hanukkah. Merry Christmas. What a year. Wait until next year. Yeah. It's only gonna get better. USS Gettysburg shoots down unknown aircraft over the Red Sea. Sailors report debris field of toys, candy canes, and antlers. What? The pilot was last seen ejecting the craft and wearing a red suit. I don't believe you. Please DM me the link to the Scream song. I can put that in. I'll put that in. I'll put that in whatchamacallit. I'll put the Scream song into local chat. You could just pull it up from there. Okay. I want to share with you all this also. After the show, I'm having an after party show on locals. And in that show, I'm going to be reviewing this whole story as to how Santa Claus became a thing. And I'm going to have you, since all you know I'm Jewish. I don't know much about Christmas and Santa and all this stuff. I mean, I general concepts I understand. But the origins of Santa Claus, Alex Jones shared today, and I'm wondering, do you think this is true? Is this garbage? So I'm going to have you find people, just teach a Jew about saying, we're going to see what it is that they say. It's an interesting perspective that I wanted to just share with you all and get your feedback. So you can tell me whether you think it's true or not. Thank you, AK Batusi. I appreciate you. You're awesome. Spuds gifting 5 good Lawgic memberships. 5 new followers, courtesy of Spuds. Who'd you bring to us? Spuds. Spuds. Where are you? I don't see Spuds here. Definitely happened. Definitely happened. Yes, Spuds brought the following: Mojave, the shirtless dad winterized version, Mistress, Old Line Red, and Igor, 1978. Welcome to follow, you guys. Welcome aboard. God bless you, Spuds. Thank you so much. Please bear in mind that there's no Kool-Aid. There ain't no Kool-Aid here. Unburdened. That was good. The best thing about this cycle is now no serious candidate will be able to avoid long-form interviews a la Rogan, Lex Freeman, et al. A la Good Logic. So there you go. Elon is the strongest African-American voice, too. It's true. He is. That's well said. One good thing happened this year. Found your channel. Started drinking Kool-Aid, herding squirrels. No. Found a lead. No, none of this. None of this is true. These are all lies. Lying liars. Do you really have to do a Santa stream? I was hoping for some Xmas-free entertainment tonight. It's not like there's a shortage of Santa stuff. What do you think? I'm going to just like change my whole schedule around now? It's already booked. It's already booked. It's there. It's locked. You can't change what's in the lock. You can't change what's set up. That's like, would you go to CBS and say, hey, I don't really like your Thursday night schedule there. Can you just like, play around with that? That's not the way things happen. That's not the way. Actually, to be fair with you all, literally, I looked at my clock. It was 9:58, and I was like, I don't know whether I want to do top 10 or if I want to do the Santa thing here. I was like very torn. And in fact, I had spent the last hour before that just aggravating. And then I couldn't decide. So I started just watching clips of nothing, figuring something's going to hit me. And then I was like, oh, okay. I got 10. At 10 o'clock is when I was like, okay, we're going to do both. We're going to do both. And we'll have the YouTube stream. And then like at 12:45 a.m. is when I plan on jumping over to locals and doing the Santa thing. I don't know what to tell you if you don't want it. I mean, what can I tell you? It is what it is. It's the schedule. Kurt, instead of Silent Night, I'm singing Hu Hach Tugavish. I'm a Jew, a lonely Jew on Christmas. I love you, Joe. I never heard Hu Hach Togavish. Hu Hach Togavish. That's definitely, I'm feeling like you did some sort of translation thing that's not working. Who? Hakt Togavish. No idea. Normally I can figure these things out. This one I ain't got. But Merry Christmas, Kurt. I can name 3 years. I'm going to go back to the Hu Hach Togavish thing. This is the token DI Christian stream. It is. It really is. It really is. Gene! Happy Hanukkah, Joe. Much love to you and yours. Thanks for being a good sport on the whole space laser thing. It was always about how hard I would get you to laugh. Today's Flavor Aid is grape. Flavor Aid is okay as long as it's not Kool-Aid. Happy holidays, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's move on. I'm up to number 6. Number 6 in the list. Number 6. What do we have for number 6 on Joe's list? Yes. Wait, is that, what did I call this one? I wrote it down here. Yeah, number 6 on the list was this.
What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. I mean, billionaires in America. And what's happening? They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 billion, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President.
What? And then Trump responding with this.
Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare.
That was so good. That was so good. And there was more. There was more. That's right. This is number 6 of the number 6 story of the year. There's more.
That not only changed all of that, it made sure that we are in a situation where you had no circumstance where they could come across the border with the number of border police there are now. We significantly increased the number of asylum officers. Significantly, by the way, the Border Patrol endorsed my position. In addition to that, we found ourselves in a situation where when he was president, he was separating babies from their mothers, putting them in cages, making sure the families were separated. That's not the right way to go. What I've done since I've changed the law, what's happened? I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer people coming across the border illegally. That's better than when he left office. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either. Look, we had
Utter collapse. Never in American history have we borne witness, has our nation borne witness to the utter collapse of a candidate in the middle of a debate where we actually saw his brain melt right there live on TV. It was just like the whole world just was waiting for this debate, waiting for this debate, and we just watched. It was like watching in slow motion this car where it's like it's spinning out and it's on an oil slick, and you hear the brakes screeching and the wheels are spinning and the car is spinning, and there's this big wall, and you're like, that's not happening. He's not braking. That's not. Oh my God! What's happening? Oh my God! It was an amazing thing to see. An amazing thing to see, and it obviously is what precipitated. That was the last debate of the decision. That's the last debate of his career. We're not watching that again. We're not watching that again. So I consider that story of his collapse, and then the cover up afterwards, like, no, he had a bad night. He had a bad night. Look, sometimes people have a bad night. Sometimes you're just not on your game. He had a bad night. They still had to run cover and pretend that he hadn't spent 4 years. 4 years. Oh my gosh, what an utter disaster. Just an utter disaster for the left. It was something just amazing to see. Amazing. Last money going to veterans' home to serve food with my dad tomorrow. That's very cool of you, Brian. That's very, very cool. God bless you, brother. I saw the mission of the clause. Wasn't he Jewish? I don't know what that is. I don't know what any of you are talking about tonight. I'm very, very confused. I'm very, very confused. Do you know what hu hak to gavish means? I don't know. I think it was supposed to be Hebrew. Hu hak to gavish. Instead of Silent Night, I'm singing Hu Hak To. I don't know. I was hoping Lady Lawgic might be able to parse that one together. I don't know. I don't know. All right. She tried. All right. We're now into the top 5 stories of the year. That's right. Top 5 stories of the year. And for me, this was, I might be crazy for ranking this high, but I don't think we've seen this before. I don't think we've seen a candidate who was as electrifying as RFK ever do something like this.
Well, I want everyone to know that I am not terminating my campaign.
Not at all.
I am simply suspending it and not ending it. My name will remain on the ballot in most states. If you live in a blue state, you can vote for me without harming or helping President Trump or Vice President Harris. In red states, the same will apply. I encourage you to vote for me. In about 10 battleground states where my presence would be a spoiler, I'm going to remove my name. And I've already started that process and urge voters not to vote for me. 3 great causes drove me to enter this race in the first place, primarily. And these are the principal causes that persuaded me to leave the Democratic Party and run as an independent. And now to throw my support to President Trump.
And there you go. That was him throwing his support. Took him a while to get there, but throwing his support behind President Trump. Along the way, the DNC did everything they could to try and keep him off of ballots. He was running from one state to another, fighting one lawsuit after another, where the DNC was trying to keep him off the ballot. He's trying to say he's allowed to stay on the ballot. He was literally running from one state to another, one state courthouse to another, where the DNC was trying to drown him in litigation and engage in the same lawfare that they threw at Trump is what they were throwing at him, which is in large measure probably what was the final nail, which got him to basically say, I want to take the DNC down. And he was so significant in the sense that he was the threat he was to Trump is that the libertarians and populists in general, libertarians seem to prefer RFK. And he very much gave a populist message without having the quote unquote baggage of being Trump and all the negative stereotypes that surround Trump, given 8 years of propaganda trying to discredit and destroy Trump. So he wasn't saddled by that baggage and was giving a very similar populist message, which made it a scary thing that he was going to have a very significant impact. This was a terrible, terrible decision by the Democrats to try and chase RFK out of this election. In my opinion, he was far greater threat to Trump than he was to Kamala, because Kamala already was positioned as the establishment candidate. And I understand the Kennedys have historic ties to the Democratic Party, and there were fears that he would evoke memories of Robert, his dad or his uncle, and their success in the Democratic Party. But the reality is the messaging that he was giving was nothing like what the DNC has been offering and asking. It was far closer to the messaging that Trump was providing. And like blithering idiots, they never listened to their own messaging or the messaging of Trump or the messaging of RFK to recognize that he's far greater threat to Trump. But instead, they decided we're going to try and make his life a living hell. We're not going to give him Secret Service protection. We're going to try and throw him off the ballot. One thing after another that they kept trying to bleed him out of his money. They kept trying to keep him off of the ballot. All of that stuff there worked to their own ultimate detriment. And seeing him cross over and say, I'm supporting Trump. This is someone who, in the beginning of the year, had no intention ever. January 1st, 2024, zero chance. RFK, if you would have asked RFK, any chance you'll flip and support Trump, I can tell you right now, he would have said 0% chance. Along with him came Tulsi Gabbard, former starlet of the DNC. She was such a massive rising star, and I'm lumping her in together with this, with her jumping on board and supporting Donald Trump and forming this coalition. I broke this into two categories. I know lower down on the list I had Elon, and I put Rogan together with that because I look at them more as influencers as opposed to political leaders, political, people who have voters coming out and voting for them. People have won elections, or at least, potentially we're seeking election. When we've seen before in primaries where when a candidate defeats someone else in a primary, they'll bring them into their team. They'll bring them on board. And for example, Obama, after he beat Hillary, so he brought in Hillary as his Secretary of State. That's not an uncommon thing. What is uncommon is when they're jumping parties. That you don't see. But the Kamala and the Democrats have made themselves so divisive, so hated, so completely detestable, just gut-wrenching, stomach-turning, vomit-inducing individuals that people are fleeing them like they are lepers. And it is an amazing thing to see. And watching him get up there, RFK get up there, is something that I can guarantee you, January 1, 2024, RFK would say zero chance that's happening. Tulsi Gabbard, no one would have thought that would happen. Vivek, people could have seen that happening. And I will include Vivek in here also, because assembling this dream team in general, and I'm going to tie in RFK here to the appointments that we're seeing, because I think all of this is interconnected, where we see this crossing over, crossing the aisle, joining into the MAGA messaging, the constitutionalist messaging, the making America great again, making America healthy again, and all these different appointments that we're seeing right now, and the fruition of what so many of us have been dreaming would actually happen, starting to take shape since leading up to the election, with these people crossing over and into the appointments that Trump has announced. They're not obviously official appointments until after he's sworn in, but these appointments that we're all anticipating he's gonna carry through on, and just the excitement that's been generated from this. And it really all started taking image. And not to mention, obviously, Doge, which is a very significant. Some people would say Doge should stand on its own 2 feet, because the idea that we're actually going to be auditing our own government, auditing and seeing where's the waste and trimming this waste out. This is something that we've never, ever had before. And it also ties in this coalition to the power of MAGA that was manifested in the bill last week, that bill getting crushed last week. This is the rise. This is the rise that we are seeing now, which I think all ties into the fact that this coalition is there of voices from so many different specters of life that have all come together to basically say, let's actually make America a better place. In 2016, it was like this dream of like, wouldn't it be great to make America? Wouldn't it be phenomenal to make America great again? But now we can actually start to visualize what that would look like and see how that would actually manifest on a day-by-day, month-by-month, year-by-year basis. And it's like, wow, like this is like, it's like a cultural revolution. And I think that this step right here was a very, very significant step with respect to seeing that actually manifest into something tangible and real. So that's why I put RFK changing alliances together with Tulsi and the other and Vivek. That's why I put that at number 4. That's why I put it there. Mission of the Clause, Passion of the Christ. I don't know what. I know that's a movie. I know it's a Mel Gibson movie. I don't know what. I assume making a joke, which I'm not getting. RFK made it to the Central Park Bear. That was hilarious. Keep your enemies closer. DNC failed this principle. It was such a stupid mistake on there. It was so short-sighted. Thanks for including RFK Jr. Kagsumea. You too. Thank you. Dems challenged RFK at every step of the election. Dems sought to bankrupt his campaign. The lawyers involved are known and should be disbarred. They were terrible people. But it was self-inflicting. Because they basically chased all those voters to Trump. That's what they did. At worst, they would have been split. Instead, they all just went to Trump. It was so dumb. It was so short-sighted. Thank God. Thank God. That's a good thing. Their lack of vision, their lack of vision, which if you're wondering how big a lack of vision they have, as far as crossover, this is a story I saw. This is not part of my list, really. It's not really part of my list, but something that I was like thinking about covering. I'll just share with you a clip here. This is Lindy Lee. Lindy Lee, okay? If you don't know who Lindy Lee is, that just means that you watch too much of our side of the aisle. Because she's a fairly big Democratic operative, has raised millions and millions of dollars for Kamala. And Colin Rugg reported former Kamala fundraiser loses it, rips Harris for wasting her money on oligarch and billionaire Oprah Winfrey. And she left the Democratic Party after they lit her money on fire. This is Lindy Lee talking here.
Ashley, Merry Christmas. It's wonderful to be with you.
Merry Christmas.
This has been a long time coming. My initial disillusionment became clear when I realized that essentially set $2.5 billion on fire. They raised $1.5 billion through the campaign, another billion through the super PAC Future Forward. And there's been no accountability. We still haven't gotten any answers as to why Oprah, a billionaire, got $2.5 million through her production company. Why couldn't she pay for it? She's an oligarch. She could have just paid for the production costs herself. And not to mention the fact that they spent $450,000 putting Kamala Harris's face on the sphere. Now tell me why that would be helpful. Tell me how that would help her win. Obviously, that was utter failure. And then they spent $500,000 essentially bribing Al Sharpton moments before he interviewed her. And this is our hard-earned money. This is the money that I worked so hard to raise. I raised millions of this, and donors are feeling burned. And let me tell you, although I might be the only one coming forward, I haven't met a single donor who disagrees with me.
Powerful word.
So what's been the response, Lindy, since you made your announcement?
Vitriolic. And they say they're not a cult, but look at how they behave when one of their own dares to think for herself. The excommunication, the defamation, the public shaming, the boycott campaigns, the psychological terrorism. I no longer have comments on any of my social media, because it's just too much. I don't need that. It's just endless. And as soon as you step out of line, they will get you.
Yeah, that is clear. So what's next? Are you going to turn Republican, independent? What's next for you?
This all has been so fast for me. And actually, someone scooped my own exit. Some random person on Twitter got 3 million views saying that Lindy Lee is going to exit. I couldn't even own my own departure. So this is all happening really quickly for me, but you might see me at the inauguration. I don't want to say too much right now, but somebody on Team Trump already reached out to me. They've been incredibly gracious. And on day one, they were kinder to me and more humane than the DNC ever was.
Wow.
And I just think that speaks volumes. Yeah.
There you go. The reason that the DNC doesn't like you is because you're a minority, and the DNC exists to take advantage of minorities. You're also a woman, and the DNC exists to take advantage of women. So that's why they don't like you, Lindy. That's why they don't like you. All right. We're down. We're down. It's number 4. Number 4 on the list. Top 10 stories of 2024. Top 10 craziest stories of 2024. And we'll start here.
what Section 3 of the 14th Amendment says.
Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, passed after the Civil War, basically says that if you gave aid and comfort to an insurrectionist, or you are an insurrectionist, that you're barred from holding public office. So what the Colorado court did is it looked at that provision, and it had a 5-day hearing. Evidence was presented. Donald Trump had the ability to defend himself and say he wasn't an insurrectionist.
Totally fair. Everything totally fair.
And the like. And at the end of it, the judge said, the evidence shows, Mr. Trump, that you are an insurrectionist. She said, however, that the 14th Amendment doesn't apply to candidates for presidential office, that the president is not in office under the Constitution. There is not really, I think, strong support for the idea that the presidency is not in office under the Constitution.
So there you go. There you go. That was the initial findings from the Colorado trial court saying that he is an insurrectionist, but I don't have the cojones to knock him off the ballot. Don't you worry, little honey. Don't you worry. Because you're going to be bailed out by the Colorado Supreme Court. They're going to step in for you.
Well, this is a stunning ruling from the Colorado Supreme Court saying that Trump should not appear on the ballot in 2024. Now, this is surprising in part because they are reversing a lower court that found while Trump did engage in an insurrection on January 6th, that Section 3 of the 14th Amendment did not apply to presidents, and therefore he should not be kept off the ballot.
This is a historic decision. It's a momentous decision, as the Supreme Court itself
It's so momentous.
says they are in uncharted territory here, but it's really important to keep in mind. This is not the last word here. This is
no major party candidate had ever been thrown off of a ballot. Nobody had ever been thrown off of a ballot in American history. And that's why this has to be in our top 4 here. And Colorado threw him off the
almost
ballot.
certainly going up to the U.S. Supreme Court, which can review the decisions of a state Supreme Court.
And who knows what the Supreme Court's going to do? There's no telling. Nobody knows what the Supreme Court will say.
In fact, the Colorado Supreme Court anticipates that possibility. And for that reason, they put their own ruling on hold until January 4th, anticipating that it will go up to the Supreme Court.
Well, if this
There you go.
That's why I'm running for president again. Yeah!
Here's the left all excited about Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. They're all excited about it. Oh, look at them. They look like clones of each other. Oh, that's the point, I guess.
No, I'm tired. Can he even run after inciting an insurrection? Hey, I didn't incite an insurrection. See? He says he did it. He was indicted. Yeah, but it's not.
He wasn't indicted for inciting an insurrection. So, idiot.
Like there's something in the Constitution that says those who've sworn an oath to support the Constitution cannot hold office if they engage in insurrection.
The left can't mean.
There's something in the Constitution that says those who have sworn an oath to support the Constitution cannot hold office if they engage in insurrection, isn't there? Yep. Oh boy. We're taking...
By the way, notice how his shirt says, if you see his shirt here, green shirt. Yeah, he's all about not Republican Party or Democrat Party. He's about Pizza Party. Does that mean he's all about cheese pizza parties?
Oh boy. We're taking Trump off the ballot for the Republican primary in March. Us too. Our case is pending. We tried to and failed. I am appealing the decision in Maine. This is probably coming to us eventually, isn't it? Yep. That's why.
Well, there you go. There you go. And that led to not just Colorado, but
We have breaking news this hour as Maine's top election official has now disqualified Donald Trump from the ballot in that state. An
she's so excited. So excited.
effort that was underway. CNN's Caitlin Polantz has just read this filing and is following this. Caitlin, what is the Secretary of State saying in this decision here?
Caitlin, the Secretary of State of Maine is saying that Donald Trump is not qualified to be on the ballot in the primary in the state of Maine after reviewing petitions from different people who came to her and wanted
Very balanced
to remove Trump.
Totally balanced individual.
From the ballot. I'm still looking through it, but one of the findings here from the Secretary of State is that Trump must meet certain qualifications to be able to be on the ballot, and is finding that he is not meeting those qualifications and thus cannot be on the ballot. Now,
oh no, he's not going to be on the ballot. Oh no. Oh no. Wait, what's this? What's this?
Breaking news from the Supreme Court about former President Donald Trump. The High Court just said moments ago that Mr. Trump can stay on this year's presidential ballot in Colorado after that state barred him from its Republican primary.
Poor Democrats.
Colorado Supreme Court had disqualified Mr. Trump under a constitutional provision that bars people who engage in insurrection from holding office. The decision today, of course, coming ahead of tomorrow's Super Tuesday contest when 15 states, including Colorado, will hold primary elections. Senior legal correspondent Laura Jarrett is here with us to walk us through what this decision means and what this decision does not mean. Vaughn Hilliard is also here.
Are you going to tell us it means that all 9 sitting justices said that these courts and these secretaries of state are out of their freaking minds?
Here in the studio as well. He's been covering the Trump campaign. Vaughn, I'll get to you in just a moment. Laura, let me start with you. This was a case that was about Colorado, but it sounds like this is going to have ramifications that extend beyond just that state.
Absolutely, Craig. The Republican frontrunner is now permitted to run for president, not only in Colorado, but across all 50 states. The justices here in a unanimous decision rejecting Colorado's effort to ban him under the Constitution's so-called insurrection clause. The heart of this case about the meaning of a largely untested provision of the Constitution, Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which says essentially that if you take an oath to uphold the Constitution and then you engage in insurrection, you are not permitted to hold that office once again. But again, the court here is saying because the Constitution makes Congress rather than the states responsible for enforcing Section 3 against federal office holders and candidates, we reverse. So again, a clear win for the Republican frontrunner. The Colorado case was the one that was in.
So there you go. Clear win for Donald Trump. 9-0. 9-0. 9-0. It's a blowout. 9-0. 9-0. And that right there was our 4th biggest story of the year. 4th biggest story of the year. Can you figure what the top 3 are? Can you figure them out? We're down to our top 3. Down to our top 3. But before that, we got Anthony bringing in 10 new members to the following. Who'd you bring to us? Anthony. Who'd you bring to us? Following people gifted memberships into the following. Saying Anthony F. saying season greetings to you all. And that includes Melissa Simak, Justin Eisenhart, Corin Pope, Anna K, Jude Curio, Jacob Hyde 1, LK, April M, 41 South, and B Buster. All of them brought into the following courtesy of Soldier of Providence, Anthony F. God bless you, Anthony. Those of you who are new to the following, please bear in mind the following is not at all a cult type of cult. By that, I mean there is no Kool-Aid, no spaceships, no tracksuits that are mandatory, mild farm work, no goat heads on top of poles, no squirrel mutilations, no throwing virgins into volcanoes. It's not at all a cult type of cult. It's just about community, unity, leadership training, leading us towards greater personal growth and inner peace. God bless you, Anthony. Good chance to troll a paywall with top 3. I don't know what that means. How we trolling a paywall? I'm confused tonight. Snuggle, struggle. Late to the party. Merry Christmas, everyone. Too much turkey smothered in potatoes and gravy knocked me right out. That's what that tryptazine. What do they call that? Trip to something. It's definitely trip to something. Trypto something. But I always get it wrong, and I end up naming a poison when I say it. Tryptozine, I don't know what it is. It's something trypto. It's trypto. We'll just call it trypto. Look, nobody knows. Nobody knows what it's called. They call it tryptozomaniac or something. I don't know. It's not good. Not good. It's not good. Yeah, you feel tired. You pass out on the couch. You can't move. You can't turn on good logic. Everything is just a mess after that. It's just a mess. Too much. Was it law or the DNC rules that challenged RFK Jr. to be on the ballot and to remain on some state ballots? It wasn't DNC rules. It was they tried knocking him off, saying he had enough qualifications here, or other issues that he had with signatures. They were chasing him everywhere. It was chaos. Let me do a quick check on that. They went after him saying that he illegally coordinated with Super PAC. He had ballot access violations. They had various procedural errors, misleading voters, violation of state law. They challenged his signature gathering practices. They kept every up and down. They were saying there were all these different flaws in the way that he was trying to run. It was impossible. Lynn, God bless you. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Fletcher boy, but Joe, the link to tracksuits are us. Says use the code Joe for a 10% discount. That was funny. That made me laugh. That was pretty funny. You can try it. You can try the link. Use promo code Joe. I think it's time for us to get to story number 3 of the year. Of things you've never seen before. These are things you've never. The final 3 stories are things you've never seen before that we saw for the first time in 2024. And obviously, we're coming to this story next. More stupidity from the DNC.
We've got a verdict. Ari Melber.
We are looking at count 1, guilty. Count 2, guilty. Count 3, guilty.
He's holding back from like pumping his fists.
Count 4, guilty. Count
like, let me look down so it looks like I'm taking notes that number 3 was also guilty. Number 4 was also guilty. Okay, let me write that. What was number 5? What was number 5? I'm listening to this. Sorry, I'm not looking down so people won't see my. I can hold back my smile, and pinch my leg so I don't get it. I don't laugh giddily like a schoolgirl. I'm going to take very important notes here on exactly what's going to happen on count 4.
5, guilty. Those are the first 5 counts coming out of this jury, finding Donald J. Trump guilty on the first 5 felony counts. Reading the rest as we are getting it from our court report.
Starting with count 6.
Count 6, guilty.
Up to number count 6. Tell us what count 7 is. What's count 7?
7, guilty. Count 8, guilty. And you'll see on the screen we're tracking ahead. Count 9, guilty. Count 10, guilty. Count 11, guilty. Count 12, guilty. Count 13, guilty. Count 14, guilty.
What about what's 15? What's 15? What happened? What they decided on count 15?
Count 16, guilty.
Skip 15. This is what was he found not guilty on 15? I don't know.
17, guilty. Count
18 is the one that he's going to get.
18, guilty. Count
no, really?
19, guilty. Count 20, guilty. Count.
All right, he's definitely going to get guilty on 21. Everyone knows that he definitely committed number. If he did number 20, he definitely did 21 also. I don't know about 22, but 21 for sure.
21, guilty. Count 22, guilty. Count
really?
23, guilty. Count.
This is what they have to fill their time with. Oh my God.
24 guilty. Count 25 guilty. Count 26 guilty. Count 27. We're seeing that on screen. Guilty.
Everyone else is seeing it before you, but
Let's count 28.
Everyone else is like 3 guilties ahead of you.
8 guilty. Those are the first 28 felony counts here as read by the jury. Count 29 guilty. Count 30 guilty. Count 31 guilty. Count 32 guilty. Count 33 and 34 guilty. That is Donald J. Trump, defendant in New York versus Donald Trump, found guilty on all 34 felony counts. That is the verdict here in this case.
Rachel?
Listen, it's a unanimous
Rachel, why don't you tell us your thoughts?
jury verdict, unanimous
It's not a unanimous jury verdict. They actually had different bases, according to Judge Merchan.
on all counts. This is a definitive and, this is an irreducible verdict.
Irreducible verdict. I'm not sure what irreducible means in this context. Irreducible. What do you mean by irreducible? See, this is what I didn't know what irreducible means in this. See, I had a definition in my brain for irreducible verdict. I think she's a lawyer. I assume she's a lawyer. What do you think irreducible verdict means? Because according to Google, irreducible verdict's a life sentence without the possibility of parole. I don't think you meant to say what you just said. I don't think you meant. This is not irreducible. It's actually rather reducible. It's like completely reducible. That's why I was like, what is she talking about? Your first thoughts? I'm going to say some gobbledygook that sounds really authoritative. This is an irreducible verdict.
He can appeal. I'm sure he will appeal. But this is everything that the prosecution asked for.
Really? So you're saying when there's 34 charges and they got 34 guilty verdicts, that's everything the prosecution asked for? Really? This is the insightful commentary from Rachel Maddow.
From a jury that, by all accounts, took this thing very, very seriously.
Very seriously.
We counted the deliberation hours down here. The test here for us as a country is not about what happens on appeal and is not about what happens in sentencing.
Really, what is the test for us?
The test for us now as a country is whether or not this former president and his allies will have succeeded in trying to undermine the rule of law so that people reject this as a legitimate function of the rule of law in our country.
Well, apparently 77 million Americans, they weren't really accepting it as the rule of law. I think their version of events, their perspective of 77 million Americans was more akin to this.
Glenna, before you speak here, we're going to have the president. The former president is about to speak as he walks towards the camera. Let's listen in for just a moment.
This is President-elect Donald Trump standing next to future Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, weighing in on the 34 guilty verdicts.
This was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt.
It was.
It's a rigged trial, a disgrace.
It was.
They wouldn't give us a venue change. We were at 5% or 6% in this district, in this area. This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people.
Yep.
And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here. You have a Soros-backed DA and the whole thing. We didn't do a thing wrong.
You didn't.
I'm a very innocent man.
He is.
And it's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution. Our whole country is being rigged right now. This was done by the Biden.
I'm not going to kid you. Deputy AG Todd Blanche, he looks like a scary freaking individual. He looks like the Don's hitman, and I don't mean the Don in the way people refer to Donald Trump. I mean when you refer to the Don, I don't mean the Donald. He looks like a Don's hitman, doesn't he? Like you can picture him in a tracksuit, standing next to him. You'd be like, I don't want to mess with that dude. I'm not messing with that dude. He look angry.
Administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. And I think it's just a disgrace. And we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end and we'll win because our country's gone to hell. We don't have the same country anymore. We have a divided mess. We're a nation in decline, serious decline. Millions and millions of people pouring into our country right now from prisons and from mental institutions, terrorists, and they're taking over our country. We have a country that's in big trouble. But this was a rigged decision right from day one with a conflicted judge who should have never been allowed to try this case, never. And we will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over. Thank you very much.
Convicted by 12 folks from downtown New York, exonerated by 77 million Americans. Goodbye, Bragg. Goodbye, Bragg. So, yeah, that was number 3. Former president, future president-elect Donald Trump, convicted on 34 counts. Convicted. And yes, I had personal issues with the term convicted, but I went back and forth. I researched it. In the state of New York, that is legally deemed a conviction once you have a guilty verdict. I don't like it. I don't like the law. I think the law, in my personal opinion, is stupid and should be changed. However, in New York, for purposes of determining whether or not he's considered convicted, if he was to engage in a crime right now in New York and was carrying a gun, there would be an enhancement to the charge, because under New York law, he would be considered a convicted felon based on those guilty verdicts. And accordingly, it is fair to refer to him as convicted felon, and I very proudly voted for that convicted felon, and I'm pleased to see that 77 million of my fellow Americans joined in with me. So, wait, if being a member makes you not a member of the cult, does that being a member make you a member of a cult? These are questions that have plagued mankind for a long time and will continue to plague mankind. 34 felonies, 3 different baby mamas, and been pew-pewed. Hell yeah. That's my boy. They will have to live with this in perpetuity. They would. The shame and disgrace, the humiliation. Down to the top 2 stories of the year. Top 2 stories of the year. You got it? You know what they are? You know what they are? What do you guys think they are? What do you think it is? What do you think it is? Top 2 stories of the year. Breck Nichols. Merry Christmas, Breck. Good to see you, brother. Irreducible. I do not think that word means what you... Irreducible! I do not think that word means what you think it means. I was sitting there. I was like, I thought irreducible means it's not allowed to be reduced. That's how I would have translated that term. Irreducible verdict means that it has to be, you cannot go down. I was like, this seems like a very reducible. Like, what the hell are you talking about? If you want it, we'll do a quick recap. Now I'll do a recap after I get where I'm up to number 1. Up to number 1, I'll do a recap. Number 2 story of the year. Number 2 story of the year. was revealed by none other than our current president of the United States, Joseph R. Biden.
Look, the polls we had showed that it was a neck and neck race, would have been down to the wire. But what happened was a number of my Democratic colleagues in the House and Senate thought that I was going to hurt them in the races.
Joe Biden, number 2 story of the year. Joe Biden admits that he was removed. This has never happened in American history. A sitting president who has won the primary, gotten enough votes to win the primary, there being a coup to remove the sitting president from the ballot, forcing him to step aside, threatening him undoubtedly with Article 25 and offering him the golden parachute of, we'll tell everyone about the legacy of Joseph R. Biden. Just step down. Just step down. If not, you're going to leave in disgrace. We'll force you out. The coup, where Obama, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer got together and forced this man out. Forced him out of the election. He did not want to go.
And I was concerned if I stayed in the race, that would be the topic. You'd be interviewing me about why did Nancy Pelosi say, why did so? And I thought it'd be a real distraction.
Out. It's a great picture to have them blurry and these two conspiring behind his back. Right? To have him blurry in front, because he's like, blurry old man, and those two conspiring behind the president's back. This was the insurrection. This was the insurrection right there. Thank you, Nancy, for giving us Kamala. So, for my money, this is a massive, massive story. This is a story people thought he might step out, but not that he would be chased out. Not that his own people would stab him in the back. Not that his own people would force him. His biggest allies and Democrats basically turning themselves into a modern-day Roman Senate, stabbing Caesar in the back and forcing him to step aside after that disastrous debate, which we had all the way down at number 8. But him stepping aside, which I will point out to you, I'm very proud to say that I did call it. I called it down to the weekend. That's an historic presidency, really an historic. This is a Mount Rushmore presidency. No one was buying it. No one was buying it. And when he stepped aside, sorry about this. I'll make this a little bigger for you. In his tweet, he wrote this letter. He penned this letter here, which says, "My fellow Americans, on July 21st, 2024, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We made historic investments in rebuilding our nation and lowering prescription drugs costs for seniors." No, I'm serious. No, really. It's not a joke. No, really. And in expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. We provide critically needed care to 1 million veterans. No, I'm serious. Exposed to toxic substances. Passed the first gun safety law in 30 years. It's not a joke. Appointed the first African-American woman to the Supreme Court. No, I really did. And passed the most significant climate legislation in the history of the world. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today. I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people. Together, we overcame a once-in-a-century pandemic and the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. Really? Was it really the worst? Was it really? We protected and preserved our democracy, and we revitalized and strengthened our alliances around the world. It's been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president, and while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it's in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to those who worked so hard to see me reelected. I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all this work. Let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith and trust you place in me. I believe today what I always have, that there's nothing America can't do, but we do it together. We just have to remember, we are the United States of America. In a follow-up letter later that same day, he officially endorsed Kamala Harris, much to the surprise and shock of Obama and everyone else. You have that letter here? Let me see if I can pull that up for you right here. Later that day at 2:13 p.m., he tweeted out, "My fellow Democrats, I've been decided not to accept the nomination and focus all my energies on my duties as president for the remainder of my term. My very first decision as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president. It's been the best decision I've made. It's the best decision. You're going to love her. America's going to love her. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this. God bless you, Joe." He's like, all right, I'll step aside, and I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you one of these, because you know what Kamala is going to say when the pressure's on, when there's like a real decision to be made, as far as like, how are you going to handle this moment, Kamala? How are you going to handle this? You know what he gave him?
Well,
they gave her. We got this. This is what Democrats got.
If anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
That right there is the difference between Trump and Kamala. She had no clue, zero clue, that giving that answer was the death knell of her candidacy. Whatever last legs that candidacy had at that point, which it was down the stretch, whatever last legs that candidacy had at that point were basically, they were Jeff Galooly'd, okay? They were Jeff Galooly'd. It's like she basically took her own candidacy and just went up to it with a metal baton and went over to the knees of her campaign and went whack it, whack it, whack it, whack it, whack it, whack it, whack it. Kneecapped her own candidacy by basically saying, I was totally involved in all the terrible, terrible decisions which have ruined your lives. It's all on me. It's all on me. I would have done everything the same. I'll keep doing. Well, you're going to get more of the same for the next 4 years. Oh, my God. Donald Trump understands the zeitgeist, the culture, the vibe of the nation. He's like, oh, people talking about garbage? Like, oh, I'll get a garbage truck. Her understanding is Americans are totally happy. Everyone's totally happy. Yes, it's a Nancy Kerrigan reference, Judge Maddie. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Lindy Lee and all the DNC cohorts trying to run her campaign. They watched this moment here. They They watch they watch this moment right here. Right here.
Well, if anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
You know what Lindy Lee was saying when she heard that? You know what she was saying at that point in time? She was doing this. She was basically she was like this.
Why?
That's what it was. That was terrible. It was terrible. It was awful. It was a disaster. You can't say. Oh my God. Oh my God. That was terrible. That was terrible. Disaster. Disaster. Awful. Thank God. Thank God indeed. All right. We're down to number one. Number one story. Let's do a quick recap here. The 10 stories that I had so far are my list. This is what my list looks like. This is what my list looks like. So far, number 10 story of the year was the different trollings by Trump of the Kamala campaign between the garbage truck and the Mickey D's. Things we never thought we'd see. Donald Trump working at McDonald's, working the fryer. Number 9 was Fani Willis taking the stand. Number 8 was Trump winning and dominating the popular vote. Number 7 was Elon turning X and his support, throwing his support behind Donald Trump. Richest man in the universe, throwing millions and millions and millions of dollars into supporting Trump. And even more significantly, basically just influencing everyone on X to basically get out there and vote for him. Number 6 was the Biden debate and all those disasters and the flubs and like the complete memory lapses, which was an utter collapse, like unlike any debate we have ever witnessed in American history. Number 5 was RFK changing alliances together with the other with Tulsi Gabbard and the others, and the influence that had as far as the coalescence of a big tent of MAGA in ways that far outstripped anything we envisioned at the start of the year. Number 4 was Trump being removed from the ballot. Number 3 was Trump being found guilty on 34 counts. And number 2 was the coup and removal of Joe Biden. And number 1 story of the year. There was no choice. No choice. Only one choice. You all knew we were going to finish here. You all knew we were going to finish, right? You all knew we were going to finish. The greatest political moment in American history has to be fight.
Take a look at what happened.
By the way, I never noticed it before, but this guy in the back here looks exactly like every time they say that John F. Kennedy Jr. is somewhere, it's this guy. He looks exactly like this guy. You know how like they have like all these conspiracy folks are like, no, that's John F. Kennedy Jr. No, that's John F. Kennedy Jr. They have a picture of a guy who looks exactly like this guy, and I never noticed him until just now. Don't tell me I'm wrong. This guy in the hat. All right. I digress.
Hold, when you're ready, on you. Ready? Move! Up, move! Go! Up. Hawkeye's here. Hawkeye's here, move it to the stair. Stair, get ready. Stair, get ready. You ready? Are we good? Shooters down. Are we good to move? We're clear. We're clear. Let's move. We're clear. me get my shoes. I got you, sir. I got you, sir. Let me get my shoes, sir. Hold that in your head, bloody. So we gotta move to the front.
No other political leader. Tell me what other political leader would have the presence of mind to do what he's about to do.
Let me get my shoes. Okay, watch out.
Unbelievable. 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 And then, of course, we all remember Secret Service woman there who looks like she never held a gun in her life, backing her way. There she is. There she is. She's got this. She's got this. It's a miracle she didn't drop her gun. That has to be iconic picture, iconic moment. Everything about it changed America. It changed America. That picture right there. The flag flying over him. The blood dripping down from his ear to his mouth. Everything about it. And that fist pumping, fight, fight, fight. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That has to be. That's something. Every one of us remembers where we were when we heard that he was shot. Every one of us remembers where we were, and that was and his legendary presence of mind to just keep pumping, fight, fight, fight. I didn't forget about Ungag Trump. That story's not yet over. So, but thank you. Thank you, Tracy. Much stuff for doing that. Thank you, Joe. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you as well. Goodlogic.locals.com. There's a link there's a link pinned in the description. There's a link in pinned in the chat and at the top of the description. You click that link, you follow on over there, and you all can basically help teach this Jew to better understand the whole Santa story. And because I'm confused. I saw a video and I'm confused. So maybe you guys can walk me through it. You can walk me through it. Help me better understand it. Because I want to know. I'd like to know. That's over at goodlogic.locals.com. I'm wrapping my show up over here. I'm supposed to be starting at 12:45 p.m. a.m. Eastern time. It is Christmas Day. Those of you who are celebrating, I say to you, Merry Christmas. Those of you who are celebrating Hanukkah, which will be starting in the evening of December 25th, I say to you, Freilich Hanukkah. And no matter who you are, I'm telling you, lab meat is really, it's not meat. It's not. And it's not meant for you. It's not meant for humans. It's for they, them. Lab meat is for they, them. Real meat is for you. And wait, what? Great list. Fight, fight, fight. Thank you so much, Pam. Merry Christmas to you. And happy Hanukkah, Joe. Thank you, Malcolm. Did I miss anything here? Did I got everything? Oh, I missed a big one here. Dom Mannion. Everyone thinks I missed Dom on purpose. I never, even as a joke, I wouldn't miss a rant or a chat on purpose. Dom Mannion saying, Joe, there's always a lot of children. Santa's a creepy old fat guy that shows him night for Christmas when the children are sleeping and he puts ketchup on their fingers and eats. Ew. Oh my gosh. Ah. Why do I read this stuff out loud? Why? 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 Why would you do that? Why would you do that? No. Oh my gosh. Oh. Like 14 seconds ago, my 10-year-old just walked into the room here, and you had me reading that. You had me reading that out loud. All right. Well, I'm going to see you all over on Locals. I'm going to be there like in 5 minutes or so. I was supposed to be there a minute ago. It's probably going to be like 5 minutes. I'm going to be over there. Have a good night. Happy holidays. And as always, Godspeed. Donate some bucks. Donate.